So this is Tinkerbell, who came into us today. She's only 57 kilos. That is nothing, even for a small pony like this. That's because underneath this hair, she is almost a skeleton. We've blood tested these ponies, and particularly Tinkerbell here. Her red blood cells are way down below what they should normally be. One of her blood proteins, albumin, which is like the skeleton of the bloodstream, is about half what it should be. That is really profound malnutrition. They've not been getting the right food. They've been pulled down by worms and lice. It's difficult to appreciate just how skeletal this pony is. That's her hips, the whole thing. There's little to her more than bone, skin, and a little bit of covering. No wonder she looks so poor. I'm going to be honest, I'm amazed they've actually made it to us alive. These are right on the edge of life, and thankfully one of our field officers intervened. They've barely been able to lie down where they've been. They've had no soft place. So since they've come in here, they've just really taken their time. They're absolutely beautiful souls, and it is a privilege for us to be able to help them.
So you'll see these are our 4 newest arrivals at Hall Farm, and it might seem a little bit strange that we're actually choosing to clip them out, because you can see that they are all very, very underweight. Unfortunately, if you look a little bit closer at the coat that they've got, it's really, really dirty and really, really matted and really, really quite dense. So because of that, they will really struggle to regulate their own temperature. So they won't be able to sweat effectively if they get too hot, but equally they won't be able to shiver and warm themselves up if they get too cold. So by taking their hair off, it means that we can not only see the extent of their body condition, and we can also treat any skin conditions that they've got. It means we can actually give them a really thorough bath and treat their skin, and then we can rug them effectively to make sure that we can keep them at the temperature that they need to be. So if we look at Tinkerbell over here, Tinkerbell is our youngest one out of the 4 fillies that came into us, so she'll struggle even more to regulate her own body temperature. So we can choose which rugs to put on her. We can choose to put thicker rugs on if she's struggling to keep warm. But if the days get a little bit warmer and she starts to get a little bit too warm, we can then swap her rugs over, put a lighter weight rug on her and keep her at the temperature that we need her to be. So at the moment, they are all incredibly, incredibly weak. 2 of them have had to have plasma infusions just to help with their recovery. So until we're confident that they are starting to feel a little bit stronger, and actually once we do the next lot of bloods and the bloods start to represent that they are starting to recover, at that point we can start to give them a little bit more turnout or put them into a larger area. What we don't want to do at this stage is actually allow them to use any of those calories that we're feeding them to be used up on exercise. We want those calories to be used to help them recover, to gain a little bit of weight and strength, and actually help them recover internally and clinically as well.
I would say this is a 0. Yeah, the description that you will say this is a 0. Because she looks very, very underweight with, say, a body score of 0. You can't say that there's muscle in any of the areas. Shoulder blades are very, very exposed. You can see that this is the spine of the scapula, and there's no muscle here. There's obviously no muscle around the neck, which makes that shape. There's no muscle around the spine as well. And then you can actually see all the anatomy in all the legs. Yes, there might be a little bit of muscle here, but you can see that I'm touching the skin and there's nothing underneath, okay? You can see also exposed the hip, which is very unlikely in a normal horse to see this joint. And this actually joint, you can see again, there's not much muscle.
So she would be classed definitely as clinically emaciated. Our vet has aged her at somewhere around about the 6 months old stage. So far too young to have been taken off her mother anyway, even more so because of the condition that she's in. So you'd have to question whether she's received everything that she should have done from a nutritional point of view. The fact that she looks like she does probably means that she hasn't, and that inadvertently is going to have a longer term effect on her in terms of her recovery and how she will actually be as she goes into her older age group. So on her side is her temperament, so she's got a fantastic little temperament, but I think it's just going to be a question of monitoring her clinical signs daily, so taking her pulse, her respiration and her temperature every day. A foal of this age should be gaining weight every single day, but we don't want it to be too quick. So she'll be weighed twice a week, just make sure she's gaining weight at a very slow progressive rate. And as I say, the vet will continue to take bloods on a regular basis, just to check things like her protein levels and stuff like that, to make sure that we are meeting all the needs.
She might be body score condition 1, because you can see, a little bit more muscle, and then sometimes even the bone, you can't see them that well. Still, obviously, very poor condition, and you can see that the shoulders had been looking better, and there's a little bit of muscle around here. The problem with this is that it might give you a false impression of how healthy this animal is, because the bloods actually are worse than Tinkerbell. He had a very, very low albumin, which it makes you consider that what you see on the outside, it might not be 100% how the animal looks like inside. Obviously, we know that the albumin is a marker of how, the intestines look like. We knew they were obviously parasitic. So the albumin is a marker for us to know how much damage those parasites have done inside the intestinal system. The other symptoms that we could see is that the heart condition, it gets affected, some lung, obviously problems as well, but mostly then the growing will be affected, how the bones are being formed as well and then grown, that will be affected. So we end up, majority at Workers' Welfare, with this type of cases, with problems with orthopedic problems, long-term chronic diarrhea, so we don't know, origin, but we assume it's because of the damage of the worms. And then, chronic problems like this, that it will be for a really long time.
To have come this far, with the blood test results that we've had so far, the fact that she's still with us and that she's fighting her corner, that gives me a little bit more confidence than what I perhaps would have had. So yeah, fingers crossed, she keeps that fighting spirit and she makes a full recovery.